welcome to the day away from her point of view with me, Isabel.
And me, Charlotte. First of all, I just want to let you know that we have got a special guest on the show and it's something different from us. We've actually got an interview with Tranmere fan and co-host of the Football League Lowdown Ecxoes. But first of all, we're going to start with news.
Now, there's been a lot of news, hasn't there? To say we've had 4 games postponed, we've got a bit of gossip with this episode.
Yeah, and we'll get the sad news out of the way first. Beasley and Aaron Morley departing.
I was shocked, but I wasn't at the same time. I just didn't expect it, really. I knew that they would probably be going, but I didn't really expect them to be going so soon and so early in the transfer window as well.
Yeah, I kind of expected Morley because obviously it looked like he wasn't going to sign a new contract with us. Mm-hmm. But Jake Beasley was a bit out of the blue. I didn't
understand that. And as well, championship.
I know.
Crazy. But good on the lads, to be fair. We're happy that they're obviously they're better than League Two, so happy that they're going up in the football world, but it's just really sad to see them go, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously Jake Beasley's been scoring goals for us recently, but not a lot of people have said much about the Aaron Morley situation, but I'm actually really sad. And personally, in my opinion as well, I think we will miss him more than people expect.
He's our solid midfielder. Him and Liam Kelly's link up in the middle is special, and I don't think we're going to get a midfielder that's going to fit that well into the squad for the rest of the season, to be quite honest. I mean, we'll see if we get a youngster coming through, I don't know, or if we get like more of an experienced midfielder coming through, I'm not sure, but he will be missed, and he will be missed from that midfield number 8 spot.
Yeah, 100%. And that brings us on to the next bit of news, which is George Broadbent. He's extended his loan until the end of the season.
So hopefully now that Morley has gone, maybe this will show more of George Broadbent. Hopefully that he can, he's obviously not going to be the same as Morley, but hopefully he can settle into that solid midfield that their fans expect from us.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing with George Broadbent is as well, I feel like Robbie Stockdale really, really does like him, and he's always mentioned he's one for the future, and I believe he is out of contract at Sheffield United in the summer. So I'm wondering whether if he can get a bit more experience under his belt, maybe it is one that we could look to sign in.
He gets more game time and a bit more experience. He shows the fans that he does deserve in that midfield place. Maybe it could be a shout for us to sign him in the summer.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously today we've just announced, is it Paul Downing?
Paul Downing has joined us on loan from Portsmouth until the end of the season. Now, I'm not going to lie, I am pretty buzzing with this signing. A lot of people on social media, other fans are as well. He's got so much experience. He's 30-year-old, so much experience. He's played at Walsall, Blackburn and Doncaster Rovers, obviously, as well as Portsmouth. But I'm really excited for this signing. I'm hoping it's just adding the strength to the back and not that O'Connell could be going. Because if O'Connell goes, that's going to be really gutting. So I'm hoping that Paul Downing will be more of a comfort for the back and showing that more experience in, teaching the likes of Max Taylor a little bit more in Dorsey, giving that experience. I feel like he's going to be like a Paul McShane type.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like you said, I'm hoping it is for the fact that we are just strengthening. Or maybe I was thinking, Owen O'Connell likes to push forward, doesn't he? And he can play as a midfielder. So maybe have him at the back with Dorset and Max Taylor, which gives Owen O'Connell the opportunity to play in midfield and push him forward.
Yeah, that defensive midfield role, which Morley has done in the past as well. That's a shout. That could be a shout. whether he's going to push O'Connell forward and obviously put Downing with either Dorset and Taylor. We'll never know. But as well, in terms of defence, Corey O'Keefe has gone. He's not signed a contract as of yet. We all are hoping he signs another contract until at least the summer. But, you know, every time I go on Twitter, every day, someone's put, come on, Corey, sign the contract, sign the thing.
Even Liam Kelly put it as well, didn't he?
No, I saw that. How funny. But, you know, the players want him to stay. The fans want him to stay. I'm just hoping that we can negotiate a deal. It don't really look like he's going to be playing, going to do it in time for the Tranmere game this weekend, though.
No, it really doesn't. Fingers crossed he does sign, though, because I think just in general, just it's his attacking role, his defending, just everything, just his presence as well, because it does seem like, from what I've seen, it does seem like a really likeable guy, and it does seem like a lot of our players do get on well together, and I think he's a bit of a joker in the dressing room kind of thing, and I think that kind of positivity and that kind of like bond with the rest of the lads, I think we need that.
Yeah. No, I'm wondering as well who we're going to have as right back at the moment until we do either sign a new right back or sign Corey O'Keefe again. We obviously would have had Kieran, but unfortunately Kieran is still broken his foot. So who do you think will be in that right back role for the weekend?
I personally think, obviously, I've heard AD White can play both left and right, which is a shout. Mm-hmm. But as well, Abraham Ado, when he's played on the left, like left wing back, I think has played brilliant. So maybe have Ado on the left and AD White on the right. But I really don't know. It's a strange one, but I think Sam Graham's also back from injury as well. So
brilliant! That's another Sam Graham. Hopefully, I mean, to be honest, like I still want to keep personally for the weekend against Tranmere. I personally would like to keep Dorset as long as he's still showing how good of a centre back he is at the moment, because before we had all these postponements, which we'll get onto in a minute, he was incredible. The last couple of games, he really was one of the best centre backs in our squad.
I completely agree.
He really was having like the time of his life in the back four. He was having the best time, you know, defending. Some of the clearances that he was doing was brilliant, and he's really come on. So as long as he's still doing well, then I would like to keep him at the back. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, maybe with this, I'm guessing this Paul Downing will be in obviously the squad.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether he'll start, obviously, because he's from Portsmouth and he needs time to gel, obviously train. So I don't know if he'll definitely start. But like I said, if he does start, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he did actually play O'Connell, maybe with Liam Kelly in the middle. Because I think that's more of a protection for our back line as well. Because obviously you've got your defender and your experienced defender, but obviously O'Connell can protect that line as well. So yeah, it'll be quite interesting, won't it?
It'll be an interesting one. Obviously, last weekend we was meant to play Colchester, and it was meant to be our first game back after having 3 postponement games over Christmas because our squad had COVID. And at 2:30, half an hour before the game, it got postponed.
That's an absolute joke, wasn't it? I feel so sorry for the fans that travelled, especially, I think it's Colchester near Essex.
It's like 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
3.5 hours away. That's a joke. To call it off half an hour before the game. I don't know whose decision it was. Like I know it was down to the referee, but you know, us Dale fans, I didn't go personally. I'm not sure about you, Charlotte, but I would have been so annoyed if I was in a Colchester's Wetherspoons and then get a notification saying it's been postponed, because that was our 4th one that has been postponed in a row. So it's very frustrating.
Yeah, of course. And like we mentioned last time, obviously there was a bit of a there was a bit of a thingy at Barrow, wasn't there, where would it be on, would it not? But that was on, and luckily Barrow is a lot closer. But I just think this with Colchester was an absolute joke. And obviously it was raining. It was raining up north. I don't know how bad it was, obviously, down south. But I just think if there's any issue with it maybe being on, or if there's a slight chance that it will be getting called off, if you've got travelling away fans, just call it off straight away in the morning.
Yeah.
And
I know the groundsmen obviously really try hard to get the game on and stuff, but I just felt like, come on, could you have either tried to get the game on and just delayed the start, or just call it off straight away? It's just very frustrating.
Yeah, and I know the same happened with Sutton when they obviously had Ultimate Weekend, and just before kick-off they got called off, but also in the conference, Notts County and Dover. So you think Dover's so far, and obviously for the travelling fans, and obviously that got called off just before kick-off as well, and you just feel sorry for all these travelling fans. And I know obviously situations can't be helped, but if there is a slight chance that it might not be on, just call it off and save the fans. Like, they're messing around.
No, 100%. And I really feel for the frustrated Dale fans. Like I said, especially because we've had 3 games previous to that called off.
Yeah.
So everybody's really excited to get back and watching the Dale, you know, and then team news came out and everything, you know.
I know.
So the team news came out, and then 2:30 we called off. It's just devastating. I am keeping my fingers crossed that this game this weekend will not get called off. Obviously, we're both going. It's away. It's not the furthest place in the world, but it's an away game, and if it gets called off, I'm gonna be feeling
the only
football.
Yeah. The only good thing about Tranmere as well, I think Tranmere have played majority of their games, where obviously we've had a few off. I'm sure Tranmere have played like most of their games. So that's something good to look at. They've obviously played and not had many called off.
Yeah. Moving on to the Tranmere game, are we going to introduce our guest today?
Yeah. So now we've got an interview by Tranmere fan and co-host of the Football League Lowdown show, which honestly I absolutely love and I watch every Monday night at 8:30 because it cheers me up. So yeah, we've got Ecxoes. So then we have a special guest on a day away. We have never done this before, so it's something new for us girls. But we have an opposition fan joining us tonight, and it's no other than Tranmere fan. It's Ecxoes, whose name is actually Michael. But I just can't not call you Ecxoes. That's what I know you as.
It is. Listen, even when the lads know my real name, they don't call me. So
I remember you saying as well, like, you can actually call me Michael. I was like, no, I know you as Ecxoes now. How are you anyway?
I'm not bad at all. Just home from coaching football myself. Had my dinner, and there we are. What, yourself?
Yeah, I'm all good. And I just want to thank you as well for coming on our podcast.
No problem at all. Anytime.
So then, Tranmere, you're second in the table on 42 points. I'm going to start by asking a question. I think I know the answer, but how do you think your season is going so far? And are you happy with your league position?
It's an interesting question because I think I've touched on this before, but I'm ecstatic with the league position. I don't think we're playing fantastic football, or we're not blowing teams away. We're just grinding out results. Mickey Mellon has just got a habit of getting results, and it's working. And we're in January. We're looking for a few signings, and I dare say if we get a couple in, we will stay where we are. I think we should get autos, to be honest. So season's going well, but if you'd asked that 5-6 weeks ago, we'd all be going, "Oh no, it's awful. It's awful."
Yeah, it's funny actually, because we were kind of like roles reversed, because it's been a mental season for us as well, because obviously at the start we weren't really expecting anything. It was just all about rebuilding. And then the first month or so, we ended up getting a few points. We were up there, and I was one of them. I was expecting promotion. I was like, yes, let's plan our promotion party.
It's funny when you're the team that one of the teams that comes down from League One, and you're not one of the big teams that comes down. So I don't think any big massive teams did come down. But say you look at this season, say somebody big slips into the relegation zone and comes down. If you're not one of those teams, the first thing you want to do is not get relegated again. Yeah. It happened to us. We got relegated twice in a row. I think Notts County did it. Chesterfield did it. It looks like is it Scunthorpe are going to do it, or at least 2 seasons apart. It's really difficult because you come down, you lose a lot of your players, and you've got to rebuild, and then they've got to gel, and it only takes a run of bad results, and the morale goes down, and you end up looking over your shoulder, thinking, "Oh, we could slip into the conference here." And once you're in the conference, it's really hard to get out of because there's some big teams down there as well.
Yeah, there really is, and it's just surprising, like you just mentioned. But some of obviously like the bigger teams, like as I was saying before we started recording, who seasons ago were in like the football league and have dropped down, and it's just mental. And like you said, that's the first thing you never want when you get relegated. You just don't want to like drop again.
Yeah, and it's very easily done. I mean, you look at some of the teams down there. You Chesterfield, Notts County, Wrexham have been down there for over a decade now and not come back up. Even Torquay, obviously not a massive club, but Torquay have been down there a while. And you look at some of the teams that have been down there. I mean, obviously we're down there. Exeter have been down there.
Yes.
Teams that there's just been some big teams down there have come back up again. But Lincoln is a prime example.
Very good example.
The other thing is the teams that come up then get a bit of a bounce and then push on to get promoted again. We did it. That's the first season we came up. We went straight up again to League One. Lincoln did it within a season. Again, I didn't hate our time in the conference. I didn't like being in the conference, but we were really good down there, and we some big wins, some amazing games. We went to Wembley all the time, and then we got that bounce going straight back up again. It was really good.
Yeah, and what are you expecting this season? Like right now, are you expecting playoffs, automatics? Do you think you'll win the league? Like what would you say at the minute? What is your expectation?
Expectations now is automatics. Like I said, if we bring in a couple of players, say 2 or 3 players that we need, there's a couple strength and depth at the back. So I think we need another centre back at least. If we get a striker, I say we get Autos, no problem. The 2 lads up front at the moment, Jolly and Nevitt, are both young lads. Jolly's just back from Chester. He was on loan there. We recalled him. Nevitt was playing for Warrington Rylands last year down in I think it's tier 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And he's come in. And the 2 young, very inexperienced strikers. We've lost Maynard now to injury for a good couple of months. But if we start adding goals, which we have done the last few weeks, we started adding goals. So we've got the best defence in the league by a long way, but we weren't scoring. We were just nicking 1-0. But we've now started to score goals. And with those goals starting to come now and the defence being as solid as it is, if we get the striker that can just knock those chances away, I don't see why we shouldn't be finishing at least in the top 3.
Yeah.
Beginning of the season, I'd have said playoffs minimum.
Yeah.
Because we are one of the bigger teams down there.
Yeah, you are.
The only frustration is obviously you're getting outspent by Salford and Forest Green, who aren't real. Aren't very manufactured clubs.
Yes, that's what we'll call them.
That's. But they're in a very false position for the size of the club. The problem with those teams are they inflate the wages in the division because they're paying over the odds for players that you're looking at, and it just bumps up the wages you've got to pay everyone else.
Yeah. Do you think Forest Green have pretty much won it now? They've got the money. been having 9 points clear.
They won last night, so they are. They might be. It's either 9 or 10 because we only drew.
Yeah.
I think they will win the league.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it. I don't like Forest Green at all.
I know, I'm not keen either. Don't worry.
No, I do think I can't see them. I can't see them having that bad a second half of the season unless they get some major injuries that they'll drop off the autos at least. I think that they're nailed on to go up. I think they'll win the league. The other team that we played that I think will look very good is Northampton. But again, they lost to Crawley at the weekend. Lost at home to Crawley. So, which was a shock result. We play Forest Green in a couple of weeks. So we play you guys at home. I can't remember we got after that, and then we play Forest Green at home. We got a 0-0 draw out of Forest Green. It
was really frustrating with us. We ended up losing, but we played well. And like I said, we were scoring the goals. It was just down to our sloppy defending because we would have beat them. And that is literally the story of our season, honestly. The defense.
As I said, I thought you looked pretty good against us. I thought funny enough, one of the Rochdale game was one of the games I didn't think we played too badly in, and we lost. But I thought Rochdale were one of the better footballing sides we played against. Like for Salford yesterday, I had to listen to the Salford commentary, which was already annoying. And he was saying, this is a good advert for League Two football. I was going, this game is awful. It's an awful game of football. We're both just lumping it and hoping for the best. It was a horrible game of football. But but I thought Rochdale actually played some good football and we played them. Scored a couple of good goals as well.
Yeah, it's one of them where obviously we were known for the long ball, and obviously someone you're not very keen on, but Keithville got us playing football, and Robbie Stockdale seems to have the same kind of idea and wants us to play a similar kind of way, which I do like because there's just nothing worse, is there, than them teams who just come, the dirty teams like the hoofball.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd take a 1-0 win every week for the rest of the season with us playing dirty hoofballs to go up. But it's not great to watch, to be honest. No. But if it's your team and they're winning every week, there's not too many people grumbling, are there?
That is true. That is true.
We do like to see people. We do like to see Tranmere play football. Tranmere is known for playing good football. Yeah, and always have been. From years ago. It's a bit economical at the moment, but I think we get get a couple of signings in, and that can change. And when we do get the ball on the deck and play it, we brought in Josh McPake.
All right.
From Rangers.
Yeah.
He'd been on loan at Morecambe. He'd been at Harrogate a couple of years before and was really good. It was last season, he was really good there. Josh Hawkes is due to come back. We had him on loan from Sunderland. He's gone back because of COVID. Yeah. But it looks like he's going to come back anyway after he's covered a few injuries, and he's a really good winger. So we get them back involved and putting balls into the box, and we do look really good. We get the ball on the deck.
They're not due before Saturday, are they?
McPake's already in. We might be signing a striker. We might be signing a striker before Saturday. From what I've heard. So as January signings go, rumor is now I take this pinch of salt because I get it from the forums and people I know on Twitter, but it looks like Kane Hemmings could be coming in from Burton, who scored a lot of goals around different teams, and we might actually be spending some money on him to bring him in.
That'd be a good signing. That'd be a really good signing.
Or Armand Nandoué, who we have had on loan before when we were in League One. He did well at Blackpool. He's done well at a few English teams, but he's not having the best of time up in Scotland. So he could come in. And I think if you get him, or even if you get both of them, in, that'd be brilliant. But if you get either or, I think we stand a much better chance. I do think we need another centre back. I think one of our centre backs is out for a little while, so we do have Davis and Peter Clark. Now Peter Clark just doesn't seem ever to get injured. He plays every game every season. He's 40.
Don't say that. You just jinxed him now.
I know. I probably have just jinxed him. But the guy's he's a machine. And honestly, I think he's still the best centre-back in the division. He's just unreal.
Yeah.
He's missing teeth. And I think he will tackle you with his face. He's that good. And I think we're looking at another midfielder to come in. Maybe coming on loan. but we're looking at another midfielder. So again, it's exciting. We get to a January where we're going, actually, we might buy a player.
Yeah,
Or bring a couple of other players in and stuff like that. I think the budget is there to bring players in. It's making sure you get the right ones in January.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, last season we had an awful January.
Yeah.
We brought in Ali Crawford, Nia Kirby, and David Nugent, and three of the most uninspiring signings.
I was going to say, he's been around for ages, Anthony Nugent.
Oh, there's a clip somewhere going around where there's a game where the ball comes up and instead of going for the header, he tries something clever and runs away from the ball. But the player behind him reads it. So it just looked like he runs away from the header.
Oh my God.
Oh no. No, he had a good game up at Carlisle last year.
Yeah.
We won 3-2. But that was it. It was god awful. And Ali Crawford. I mean, the fact that he came from Bolton was already bad.
You're not a fan, are you?
No, and he was terrible. He really was. I don't know what he's doing now. If he's still playing football, be surprised, because I think I'd do a better job.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Bolton at the minute because they've just bought Aaron Morley. Fuming.
That's frustrating. Where Bolton getting the money to do that?
Yeah, it's frustrating.
The skins. They brought two players in for money. You know.
Yeah, it is frustrating. Really frustrating. I know you mentioned people coming in, but have you got any outgoings? Is there anyone who you think you'll sell or will go on loan? Or
we released Mark Duffy. He just wasn't getting a game. He didn't look, when he did get a game, he looked okay in the Johnson's Pizza nobody cares about trophy.
I know.
He looked okay in that, but he just looked off the pace in the league and stuff like that. So he's gone. Outgoings wise, I don't know. I did see a rumor that Kieran Morris could be a make weight in a deal, but I hope not, and I don't think it's true. Kieran Morris, I don't know if you've seen it, he's a fantastic footballer. Really is. He's very skillful. He's a wicked shot. On his day, one of the best players in the division. So I'll be reluctant to see him go. But other than that, I don't think we got many outgoings. We brought boys back in who were out on loan and things. So the only thing I can see is sending boys back out on loan. Yeah. I can't see anybody leaving. No. Just mainly incomings, to be honest, to strengthen.
Yeah, like I mentioned, like our weak points this season has been our defence, like it has been for many seasons. What would you say Tranmere's are, and what do you need to improve on? Would it be your goal scoring?
It's goal scoring. Yeah? That's it. The defence is brilliant. Again, it's second to none. The goal scoring has been the problem. Even when earlier on in the season, we weren't creating chances at all. We were just nicking a header here and there. We are starting to create chances now, so it's just then finishing them. So I'd say we get a goal scoring, and we go up another level. Yeah, I think if we're sitting second with the worst goals scored in the division, can you imagine where we'll be if we're scoring goals?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
and we know we did beat Scunthorpe 4-0, but a couple of the goals, like one's a wonder strike from Nevis, one the goalkeeper lets in, and the other two we catch them on the break. Yeah, which again, good finishes, but you know, it was our biggest win of the season. Before that, you know, it's 2-0s and 2-0s, and the rest are all 1-0s or 2-1s. So you know, it is goals, and I say with the two wingers, if Josh Hawkes does come back, we've got people who can create stuff. We've got Morris if he stays in the middle there creating, and then we've got Spearing behind them, just kicking people. Yeah. You know, and keeping things ticking over. And O'Connor from Celtic. We got O'Connor from Celtic has looked really good in the midfield at the moment. And it's funny because he was brought in, I think, initially as a right back, but he can play centre midfield as well as like the defensive centre midfielder.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And he just looks really good doing it. He's a really solid player. And last night he got man of the match again. I think it's a couple of times he got it the last few weeks, where he just didn't give them a sniff. Yeah, he's on them straight away, winning balls, and he's out of contract at the end of the season. I'd love to keep. Yeah. But you know, you should never fall in love with a lone player. Don't,
Corey O'Keefe.
Yeah. Oh, you're bringing him back in though, aren't you?
Apparently we are. I think we got decent money for both Beasley and Morley, and I think the main thing we want to do is obviously bring him in. We've been linked with Is it Charman he's called from Darlington?
Luke Sharman, yeah. And from experience, I did a save last year with Darlington on YouTube, and Luke Sharman played for me there. And I know football match nothing to go on, but he is scoring goals down there.
Yeah.
It was a surprise. I mean, I know some Darlington fans do it, and they were surprised when they got Sharman from Newcastle.
Yeah.
That he dropped that low down, and he does look a different class. To be honest, he's a really good player. I think put him in a League Two team, and you give him chances. I think he'll score goals.
Yeah, we've been linked as well with, I think, Niall Mayer from Halifax, and who's the other one? We're just on Twitter before. I think it's a defender from Portsmouth. I can't remember his name though. I cannot remember his name, but that's someone who we do need, obviously. But I don't know if that's because Owen O'Connell's out of contract in the summer, whether obviously we're going to be cashing in, because rumours are Preston want him, and obviously he knows Ryan Little from Bury. So it's whether that or whether they are strengthening the squad. But as well, Owen O'Connell can play in the middle. So whether they're going to give him more of an attacking thingy in the middle and then have Max Taylor and him at the back, I'm not sure. But
I mean, it's interesting that especially the lower leagues this year, because there's not a lot of players getting long-term contracts. Everyone's on a 12-month. Everyone's out of contract in the summer. Yeah. And COVID hasn't helped that at all, because clubs don't know what's happening this season after, where the income's coming from. So they're not likely to give you a 3-year, 4-year contract at all, because you don't know where you'll be. You don't know what the income's going to be. So it's interesting. You see everyone's squad in League Two next season. There'll be 80% of the squad will be gone, and they'll be having a brand new one in. And again, we were like that this year. We basically had to sign a whole new team at the beginning of the year, which didn't help with it gelling. So if you look at from last year, we had Spear and Morris, Feeney, the goalkeeper, Scott Davis, had to retire now because he got injured, and Peter Clark. Yeah, and I think that's about it. And Leo Connor come back from being loaned on Colin McDonald, but the majority of the team are brand new. You got to get them in, get them to gel, and that's always the struggle. I mean, we talked about that Swindon on the Football League Lowdown about having to basically sign an entire new team, and would it work for them? But they seem to have done it and got it working, and they're doing all right. Whereas other teams, like look at Oldham, they've signed a nearly entire new team, and they're massively struggling.
It's horrendous.
But there's a lot worse stuff in the background of Oldham. Unfortunately. I mean, as much as I don't like Oldham, as a rivalry, you don't want to see that happen to a club at all.
No, not at all.
Apart from Bolton.
Do you know, like you were saying about these contracts and about short-term contracts because of money, Bolton actually signed Aaron Morley from us on a 3.5-year deal.
Yeah, but they're going to buy it, so they have to amortise the fee over the length of contract. Yeah. So that's why they have to, when they're going to buy a player, you can't buy a player for 1.5 years. Yeah. Or 6 months.
3.5.
You're going to have to amortise the payment for it over 3.5 years. Sorry, that's my work background coming into this.
Obviously, we spoke a little bit about the game earlier on in the season, but do you think, obviously, Dale deserved to win that game? Do you think it should have been a draw? What were your thoughts on that game?
I did think Dale. I thought Rochdale did deserve to win it. I didn't think we were bad. I thought we could have nicked something. We could have nicked a draw or something like that. But I didn't think. I think Rochdale probably did deserve to win it. I'll be honest. I said I thought you looked like one of the better teams, and I thought you'd be a lot higher than you are now after watching that game, and still after watching every other team pretty much in the league. There's only Rochdale and Northampton I've been really impressed with. Now, Sutton did beat us at Prenton Park, but it was more a smash and grab defeat. Yeah. And then they won 2-0, but it wasn't a 2-0 game. It wasn't. They didn't play us off the park, but I thought Rochdale played well against us, and I thought Northampton did really well. And other than that, I can't say I've seen. You can tell by the league table. Yeah. You win a couple of games in mid-table, you're suddenly pushing for the automatics. It's that condensed because everyone's just beating each other. Yeah. And you only need to we put the run together of 6 wins in a row, and there we are in the automatic second place. But that's because the league is so condensed and everyone can beat everyone, and it just takes a little bit of a run. So where Rochdale is sitting at the moment, you look the funny because the goal difference is 0.
I know.
which is but you look at the teams around you, everyone else is on minus. So you sort the defence out and you knock a few wins together. And I don't see why Rochdale can't be in the playoffs, to be honest.
Honestly, I don't know what it is with our defence, because it's not as if it's been the last couple of seasons. It's been going on for like the past 5-6 years. We've just not had a defence where we don't leak goals. And I don't know whether it's the formations we're playing now or whether I've just...
Scotland might be cursed.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's the only reason I've got. On Saturday, what are you expecting? Do you think it'll be a tough game against us, or are you fairly confident?
I think it'll be a tough game, but I am fairly confident.
Yeah.
It'll come back to bite me. I think we'll win 2-0.
Yeah.
I think it'll be tight, but I don't know. We'll force a goal, bundle up a ball over the line a couple of times, and you'll see. You said you go in the game.
Yeah.
You'll see how our defensive, the Peter Clark at the back and Tom Davis, they know the dark arts.
Yeah.
They keep clean sheets by, they're old, but they read the game well.
Yeah.
They'll pull your players down off the ball. They'll just break up the play. And Jay Spearing as well. They just slow the game down. If Rochdale come on, out the blocks fast, they'll just slow the game down, and then we'll get back into the game, and then we'll, you can probably hear my dog bark in the background there, but
it's all right, don't worry.
But I'm expecting Morris is back as well, so I am expecting us to win. Yeah, but I'm expecting a tough game from Rochdale.
Yeah, usually I'm fairly confident. I'm quite optimistic, but just with obviously losing Corey O'Keefe, Jake Beasley, Aaron Morley, we have got the players, don't get me wrong, but obviously Danny Cashman's not played in a while. We're relying on Josh Andrews, who's a 19-year-old striker now from obviously Birmingham, who has scored a few goals, but I just think we are missing them key players, and at the minute we don't look like we are bringing anyone in. I know obviously we could bring someone in tomorrow, Friday.
So either you bring them in tomorrow or Friday,
it's not guaranteed.
They've got to get in, gel with the players. Now you will get somebody come in and they'll score on the debut.
Yeah.
But it usually takes them a couple of games to bed in and look right. I mean, we've had McPake now for a couple of games, and he doesn't look like he's quite there yet, fitness-wise. He's come off early on the second half. He's been injured a bit in Morecambe, so he doesn't quite look like he's there fitness-wise yet. But he's still got a gel and things like that. So, you got to give new signings time to come in and bed in, and
Yeah, definitely. And who would you say is your standout player this season, and who should we look out for on Saturday? Who will be the danger players?
Standout player, it's got to be Peter Clark. He's just he's a machine. The guy, he's just an outstanding defender. He really is. He just marshals everything around him in front of him. He's the captain now because Scott Davis has had to retire. He's a leader on and off the pitch. I remember Oldham released him because he was too old, and this was 3 years ago, and he's still playing, and he's still, I'd say, the best defender in the league. Ones to watch out for that'll cause you problems. Kieran Morris, if he's playing, he's busy. He gets around the pitch. He's skillful. He can score a goal from absolutely nothing. He can hit it from all over the place. So I'm hoping he is back. So that they're the two players I'd say would stand out, but I'd say Leo Connor as well in midfield. Just quietly goes about his business, breaking up play and things like that. We've got a number of players that I've been really impressed with this year. Cogley at right back was a flying machine. The boy is so quick, and you'll go from one end of the pitch to the other, and you're like, how did he get to that ball and put that ball in? He's so fast.
I'm quite worried now. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, listen, we aren't going to go out there and just tear Rochdale open. It'll be a very tight game. We'll nick a goal, and then we'll be on top. I mean, against Salford, last night, we gave away a stupid goal. We were awful first half, but second half it was all Tranmere. Salford could barely get hold of the ball or get out. And you watch a lot of our games. If you go through the stats, a lot of our games, we'll have 60% possession against most teams. We'll have most of the ball most of the time. and it's only good teams that have kept it from us. In fact, funnily enough, Scunthorpe had more of the ball than we did on Saturday, and they lost 4-0. I felt it was a little bit harsh on Scunthorpe because I thought they started the game quite well.
Yeah.
We were on the back foot a little bit, and then we scored. And then we scored again very quickly. And then there was a point in the second half at 2-0 where they had 2 or 3 chances in a row. And from one of those chances, we got the ball and went up the other end on the break and scored the third. So, again, we can counter very quickly.
Yeah.
And with players coming back and possibly a new striker on the bench, I do think we were okay.
Yeah. I think as well, like obviously our defenders and pace wise, that's where Corey O'Keefe was really good for us because he was the one with pace, but obviously we've not got that now, so that's a little bit of a worry. But I'm wondering whether we've actually got a winger called Abraham Ado, and a couple of times he has actually been playing, like the wing back role. So I'm wondering whether he might actually start with him and AD White.
Do you set up with 3 at the back and wing backs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've varied formations this year. We've gone 4-5-1, 5-3-2, 4-4-2, and the most recently we've been playing 4-4-2.
Yeah.
And then what happens later on in the game is if to shut the game up, Mellon will take one of the wingers off and make it a diamond. So they bring on another central midfielder, and one of the wingers that is on the pitch can play in the middle as well. So you'll always put that winger at the tip of the diamond and pack the midfield.
Yeah.
And against Salford in the second half, he initially went to a 4-5-1 because Nevitt came off injured, and then brought on Pavel Glatzel, who's on loan from Liverpool, who is, again, if he plays, he could be one to watch because he's very skillful. He's got a very good touch. He's got a good footballing brain. The problem is that he's from the Liverpool under-23s, and I think I've talked about this before on the Football League Lowdown. Under-23 football is very sanitised. There's very little tackling. So when he first come in, he looked really lightweight. He was getting blown off the ball by bigger players and stuff like that. But they've toughened him up. And I think Mellon's interview a few weeks ago, he said, what I've got the lads to do in training is just boot him all over training.
Yeah.
Just kick him and kick him and kick him until he gets used to it.
Yeah, I get that as well, because Danny Cashman was the same, and he's not, I don't know what's happened with Cashman at the minute. I don't know whether it's obviously he was injured, whether he's just had a niggle, whether he's just not got in the team or whatever. But I just feel like with him, when he first came, he was quite like that. Yeah. And he was at, I think it was Brighton. I'm sure it was Brighton. And because obviously he's not played league football, he was quite easy to push off a ball.
Yeah. And that's exactly, you see it with a lot of the players that are coming on loan from Premier League teams because they play Premier League under-23 football.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's almost like a non-contact sport. It's like you're playing a different game.
Yeah.
And they get, when you're playing, you come to League Two and you've got Peter Clark coming at you and going to boot you up in the air. It's, and you see them on the floor. They've been decked, they're sparked out, so they're looking around, hands up.
Yeah, like
referee's going, play on. That was fine.
Have you got a regular starting 11? And what do you think your team will be?
Regulars. I'd say you've got a settled back four. Yeah. Goalkeepers. So you can start with Ross Doohan at the back, Clark Davis in the middle, McDonald left back. You're going to have Cogley right back. You're generally going to have Spearing and O'Connor probably in the middle, depending on Kieran Morris. Now, if Kieran Morris is back and fit, he can either play in the middle, or I think he's more likely to play out wide.
Yeah.
If Hawkes isn't back, so you probably have Morris the left wing, McPake right wing, and up front you've got Jolly and Nevitt at the moment. But again, it depends how Mellon might set up differently because you're playing 5 at the back, and he might basically mirror it, and or he might go 4-5-1 and put 5 across the midfield with Morris sitting just behind a striker. And it depends as well if Nevitt's fit, because he took a knock yesterday. He came off against Salford. Really nasty one, really. You can see it on the TV. The referee didn't spot it, but the player went right down the back of his calf when he was in front of him. Raked his studs right down the back of his calf. So it's a painful one.
Yeah.
So he could be missing Saturday. But again, we'll see. But that's generally the core of the team at the moment.
Another fun fact I didn't know as well, I never knew this, but Robbie Stockdale played for Tranmere.
He did, and it's funny because he played 80 games for Tranmere, and I can't remember much about him. He was a defender. He was fairly solid. He never scored a goal. It was I think it was 2006 to 2008, a fairly unremarkable period at Tranmere, to be honest. Did we get, was it John Barnes we had in, no, it wouldn't have been about 2009. I'm trying to think, my stag do was 2009 was when John Barnes came in. So 2008, Ronnie Moore would have been there. So we had a decent enough team. But yeah, fairly, again, he played more for Tranmere than he did anyone else, which is odd. And then you think, don't really remember much about Robbie Stockdale. There's Tranmere fans probably listening going, yeah, he was brilliant. But you have to remember, I moved to Belfast in 2004.
Yeah.
And there was no iFollow. So I wasn't watching every single, I couldn't watch any games, listening to it on the radio. So it's very difficult to judge. Whereas now I can watch every single game.
Yeah, of course.
And, I can see what they're like, other than going home and watching them.
And another name who I know you're not a fan of, but obviously we adore him. Keith Hill obviously managed you not that long ago. And like I said,
we were sacked before he got us to the playoffs and got the sack before we had played in the playoffs. Now, Keith Hill one of his first problems was he'd come from Bolton. And we don't like Bolton.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was already on a back foot there. And to be fair, when we started winning games, and I was going, you know what? I'm starting to warm to him. I was, and some other fans were starting to warm to him. And then we lost our way a little bit, and then he started calling out the fans. Now, there was no fans on the ground at the time. And at one point, so there's nobody in the ground. So nobody's there booing or anything like that. And at one point, he said the fans were fickle. So, but he said he's not on Twitter. So how would he know that the fans are fickle? So he's either on Twitter watching what they're saying, or and he had a bit of bad luck as well. We lost James Vaughan. Yeah. I think February, March time. And had we not lost him, we probably would have gone automatically.
Yeah.
Once we lost him, we lost the goals. But he didn't help with the January transfer window. The Nugents was a bizarre signing. Ali Crawford was just useless, and Nia Kirby. I think a lot of fans would blame. We were 2-0 down away at Colchester. We pulled it back to 2-2, and then with 90 seconds to go, he's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and puts it wide. He hits the post with it. Nia Kirby, and this boy's from the Premier League, and he had loads of time and space to just knock it in. And I don't think it was ever forgiven for that.
Yeah.
But we got to the Useless Cup final at Wembley, which was hard because the game against Sunderland, we were the better team.
Yeah.
And they won, but we were the better team, I thought, especially first half. But there was no fans on the ground. Empty Wembley Stadium looked weird, felt weird, but it just didn't. I suppose nothing against him personally, but when he starts coming out, and he's already on the back foot because he's come from Bolton. Yeah, he should come out and be, trying to warm himself to the fans. Yeah, he just didn't do it. And then he'd go on these bizarre rants or tangents about things.
Yeah.
What are you going on about? I mean, at one point we went to the bottom of the league and drew 0-0, and it was probably the most awful game you've ever seen. And he come out and said it was a positive point. And you're like, are you drunk, Keith? If you'd have come out and said that was awful, everyone would have been, yeah, it was, yeah. But it was a positive point, and he's a complete contrast to Mickey Mellon, because Mickey Mellon is adored by the fans because he doesn't try and sugarcoat things. If we've been bad, like last night at the interview at the end of the game, he said it wasn't a game for the purists. That he said it wasn't. It wasn't. No neutral wants to watch that. But they stuck in, and his saying is, we answered the questions the game asked us. Yeah, and he goes, I'm sure I'm sick of you hear me say that, but we answered them. But Keith was just on bizarre rants about his mum.
No, honestly, especially the second spell at Rochdale. Obviously, the first spell, then he went to Barnsley, but the second spell in particular, it just wasn't the same Keith Hill. I don't know what happened. I don't know what like.
So we were skeptical when he came in.
Yeah.
And you knew if he'd have stayed this season, it would have been toxic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and again, he's getting stick from the fans. Yeah, that wasn't right all the time. But you don't react to it.
No.
You know, you should be above that as a football man, and that was his problem. He like I said, he come from Bolton. He didn't ingrain himself with the fans at all.
Yeah.
And then was caught bizarre rubbish in post-match interviews. Yeah,
there was always a blame game with him, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was always somebody else's fault, or it always was. Yeah, and listen, he's doing. To be fair, I think he's doing okay at Scunthorpe at the moment. They are not adrift at the bottom anymore. You know, he's doing okay, and he'll come and do a job for somebody and make you solid, compact, hard to beat. And we were hard to beat. We lost Vaughan. We couldn't score any goals. It wasn't his fault we lost Vaughan, but you're playing players out of position and stuff like that, and then blaming the fans for losing.
He did that with us. We had a striker called Joe Bunny at the time, and he turned him into a left back, and it's the same with Matty Doan. He turned Matty Doan into a left back.
We had Otis Khan, really good midfielder, could play in centre midfield or right wing, and he's playing at right back. We've got a right back. Why are we playing a winger at right back? You know,
honestly.
Okay, you know what? When we were going forward, it looked great because he had a right winger playing right back who was overlapping and putting crosses in.
Yeah.
But when he was defending, he couldn't defend because he's not a defender. You know, so there's a couple of goals last year that were directly Otis Khan's fault, but not his fault because it's not his fault he's playing out of position. You know, I myself played as a right winger or striker when I was growing up. Yeah. When you play me at right back or centre back, I had no clue what I was doing or the position. You've got to learn the whole job again. But yeah, I've called a few choice words on the Football League Lowdown. I'm not going to. I know he's a hero at Rochdale, and and I think that's part of the problem. He was Mr. Rochdale.
Yeah.
And you look at John Coleman at Accrington. They're the kind of manager that not just look after the football team, they help run the club.
Yeah, they do.
And when he's gone elsewhere, he hasn't given that autonomy.
Yeah, Coleman actually was our manager for a while, and it just the football, everything about it, just really didn't fit in.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, because he's at Accrington, and he's not just the manager there. He does all sorts of stuff. He does everything.
Yeah.
And if you're used to that, and you go to a team and you go right, and then the backroom staff and the chairman's going, no, you don't need to do any of that. We've already got that handled. You know, and I think that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
And you see that he's gone to other clubs and it's been the same.
Yeah, Barnsley being one as well. Barnsley.
Yeah. And Bolton.
Yeah.
He wasn't well liked at Bolton either. And if you look at John Coleman, he's the perfect man for Accrington.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think he'd be great anywhere else.
No. Talking about League Two now, I want your predictions on a few things. So who do you think's going to get relegated?
I would have said nailed on Oldham.
Yeah,
and
I'd say Oldham.
But Colchester being dragged back into it. Now, Carlisle have gone on a bit of a run. And it's funny enough, they're only 10 points off the playoffs now.
Yeah.
But Colchester have been dragged right back into it. Now, they got games in hand, don't get me wrong. They lost last night to Forest Green.
Yeah.
But what's going on at Oldham, I'd be very, very surprised if they fail.
Same.
Because, again, when we played them, they weren't awful when we played against them.
Yeah.
To be honest, but just what's going on in the background there, it's horrible, toxic environment. And it was the same, it was very similar to when we went down. It was just everything was going wrong at the club. And you look at them now, the 4 points adrift of Colchester, and Colchester have got 2 games in hand. You know, and then you got Stevenage. I thought Stevenage were getting dragged back in, but they won over the weekend.
Yeah, I would have said Stevenage as well.
Yeah, but Colchester do have a couple of games in hand.
One of them's us. We've got Carlisle as well.
Yeah. So yeah, well, Carlisle will pull away. Barrow, I thought Barrow played quite well against us. We won 2-0, but I thought they played quite well. But again, they're getting sucked into that.
Yeah.
So again, Scunthorpe are 4 points behind Stevenage, and Oldham are 5 behind Stevenage. So I would say it's Scunthorpe and Oldham.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if a Stevenage, Barrow, or Colchester got dragged in and went instead.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, talk about Hilly, it wouldn't surprise me if they did get them out of it.
Yeah, it would. Again, it wouldn't. It makes they pick up points, make it difficult to beat. They're in a much better position than they were when he got there.
Yeah.
And they might sign a couple of players in the window and help them out. But for me, that they're the two that should go down. But again, Barrow, Stevenage, Colchester. I'd love Bristol Rovers to get dragged into that. But yeah, they got 3 games in hand on Oldham and Scunthorpe, and I can't see them being dragged into it. So the bottom from 20th downwards, I say the ones that are in trouble.
Yeah,
I'd say Oldham, Scunthorpe are the ones that are probably going to go. And it's a shame that they're too fairly. Oldham, you're talking, were playing Premier League football 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and they're going to end up in non-league.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And Scunthorpe screams of if they do go down, they'll be one of those teams that just don't come back up again.
Yeah, yeah.
You look at the way Southend are performing this year. You know, you got Torquay ended up in National League South. You know, just one of those teams that there's a lot going on in the background there with the owner and the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it seems to be anyone like that does have problems. And we talked about this before. Teams that sell off the ground tend to massively struggle in the end because the writing's on the wall when you start selling your ground and you don't own things. Like Oldham, for some reason, don't own one of their stands.
My dad was telling me about that the other day. I was like, what?
So the old owner owns one of the stands.
Yeah.
So when you pay on the gate to get, I think it's when you pay on the gate to get, so now someone will correct me, when you pay on the gate to get into Oldham, most of the money goes to the ex-owner.
Yeah.
And that stand.
Yeah, my dad was actually, funny enough, he was telling me this the other day.
Yeah, and it's just a stupid situation to end up in.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we talked about before. Once you take the ground off the club, it makes you financially in a very sticky situation. I mean, you look at Derby.
Yeah.
So you look at their accounts. Their accounts include their assets. If you've got no ground or stadium on your accounts, you've got no assets other than players. You know, But yeah, I think if Scunthorpe and Oldham go down, I think Oldham may eventually come back up if someone buys them. Yeah. But it'll be a long time before they come up and Scunthorpe go down. I don't think they will come back up.
No, I don't. I'm with you on that one. Who do you think will get in the playoffs?
Tell you what, that's a tough question. Playoffs, I think Swindon and Port Vale will be in the playoffs. Okay, and then you got a toss up. I think Mansfield and Exeter will be the other two. Yeah. I don't think Newport will stay there.
No.
I don't think they're as good without Mickey Flynn. And I'm gonna Galp Sutton's gonna hate me, but I don't think Sutton are gonna take the they're a decent team, don't get me wrong, but they're not a Mansfield or Exeter. Yeah. And a few weeks ago we were talking about Mansfield sacking the manager because they were bottom of the league. And they've just gone on some run. They've lost a couple of games recently, but they've just gone on some incredible run.
Yeah, they have.
Because they have some really good players. But yeah, I'd say, I couldn't put them in order, but I'd say Exeter, Mansfield, Vale and Swindon probably in the playoffs.
Yeah. And who do you think will win it and who'll get the automatics?
Forest Green, I think, will win it.
Yeah.
They are 9 points clear of us at the moment with a game in hand.
Yeah.
And I think Northampton will go with us.
Yeah.
You know, you could make a case of Mansfield maybe squeaking. They're only 5 points behind Northampton now. The way they're playing, they could replace Northampton, and Northampton drop into the playoffs. But I think the top three now will be the top three at the end of the season.
Yeah, I do as well, to be honest. If you could choose any player in League Two to have at Tranmere, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like Elliot List at Stevenage. Yeah. He is rapid. He can finish. He's a good player. Yeah. And I think he'd be brilliant for us. I really do. I like Elliot List. Now, there's some good players all over the place, don't get me wrong, but why Elliot List is still at Stevenage, I'll never know. But he's a really good player. I'd love him at Tranmere.
Yeah. Right. We'll just move on now to the Football League I can't even speak. The Football League Lowdown. We've obviously mentioned it a few times, but can you tell us a bit more about the show, like who presents it, where they can find you, what time it's on?
We Football League Lowdown's on at 8:30 on Twitch every Monday night, and we only talk about Football League. There's no, the only time we slip into talking about Premier League is when we're slagging it off.
Yeah.
So we always talk about the Football League. We have the main presenter is Scoops Callahan. He was one that come up with the idea, and it's on his channel, Scoops Callahan 1, on Twitch. We got Skibby and myself, who were there originally. Skibby supports Fulham, so covers the Championship, and I support Tranmere, obviously, cover League 2, and then Scoops covers Gillingham. And in the last few months, Neil from the Sky Blue podcast has come on. I love Neil. He's brilliant. I think me and Neil bounce off each other quite well, not just because we're fat, because we do have a good laugh. So
the banter, isn't it? Yeah.
It is the banter. Yeah, he supports Coventry, so we spend a little bit of time on the Championship, but we cover everything. We do watch-alongs as well now and again. So we will. If there's a load of midweek games, we will sit there. I'll watch Tranmere. Scoops will be watching Gillingham. Skibbs will be watching Fulham, and Neil Coventry, and we'll be talking about the games, what's going on while we're watching the games. We do that kind of thing as well. And it was just there's nothing really like it on Twitch. There's loads of people talking about Premier League or the Liga, but nobody's doing a Football League one. And it's interesting once people come in and see what we're doing and see the banter, and they join in, and it's because it's live. You can ask questions, we'll answer them and get involved. But once people come in, they stay. And they stay. Honestly,
I love it. Like, obviously, that first time, I'd never obviously watched it. And then I appeared on the show, had such a laugh. And then every week since, I've loved it. I just watch it. And
yeah, way Scoops put it to me is it's four lads like they're in the pub having a chat about the football.
It really is.
We don't pretend to be experts on the football. In fact, if you looked at some of our predictions at the beginning of the year, you'd be going, "Oh, these lads shouldn't talk about football ever again." But we don't pretend to be experts. We just love football. We love the lower league football. Skibby will probably be in the Premier League next year, so I have to kick him out. But but yeah,
I hope he's listening.
No, of course he'll stay. But he knows what I mean. He knows an awful lot about the Championship with Sky Blue, and me and Scoops will cover League 1 and League 2. I'd say I know more about League 1 and League 2 than I do the Championship, to be honest, because I've hung around there enough. So yeah, I really enjoy doing it. It's every Monday night at 8:30. So if you are around, pop onto Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Scoops Callahan 1. And it's every Monday night at 8:30. So you can pop in, give us your questions. We will talk about Rochdale sometimes if Charlotte makes us.
I literally force you, don't I? I send you a message just before it starts, like, right, can you mention this, and this?
Yeah. But it's funny because people watch the VODs as well, so they go back and watch the old episodes and stuff like that, and the numbers are increasing. So I say the more exposure we get and more people come in, they just stay. I will say some of the language is a bit colourful sometimes, but we love it.
It's 2022. It's all good.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you're all 2022. No, I'm about 40.
No, honestly though, it makes my Monday, because literally when you wake up on a Monday morning, you're like, oh, it's Monday kind of thing, and then I'll be on Twitter scrolling through, and I'm like, oh, that's on tonight. It always puts me in a good mood.
Well, we've no Scoops this Monday coming, so it's just me, Skibby, and Neil. So yeah, we'll have to cover League 1 between us. Well, I suppose he's being a Gillingham fan, he'd rather not talk about League 1, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. Who's doing the main thingy then? Who's doing his job?
Skibby will do that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Well, he knows Skibby from real life, so he's not worried about giving him passwords. If you give it to me, he'd be banned in a few days.
Oh man, I've actually had a few questions about it.
I thought
I'm gonna laugh now. But Sky Blues TV,
has actually tweeted and asked, who is your favourite co-host on the Football League Lowdown show?
I mean, I'd say this is a really difficult answer, but it's dead easy. I hate the three of them. Can't stand any of them, especially after what they said about me in the group chat today. You know, it's terrible. But no, honestly, they're all different, and I love the three of them. To be honest, me and Neil, I've got the kind of, well, even Scoops, I've got the kind of, fat bloke banter going on.
Yeah,
we wind each other up about. Skippy looks like he's on a different planet most of the time. To be honest, he looks high as a kite. If it's not Fulham, he doesn't want to know. And Scoops, it's funny the way I met Scoops is through Twitch. We both stream separate, and one day he popped into mine and one day I popped into his, and we spent one night, I was in his stream and we've been talking a little bit, but he did this dead long stream for some reason and got drunk, and we were both sitting there drinking until about 3 a.m, watching old Tranmere and Gillingham clips, and that's kind of where me and him started to really get on. And he said, then a couple of months later, he said, "Yeah, I want to do this thing with the Football League."
Yeah.
And do you want to come on and cover League Two with Tranmere? And I was like, "Yeah, definitely, yeah."
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I always look at it as. It's a laugh with my mates on a Monday night. It's not a chore to go and do it. It's a good laugh.
No, it really is. And like I said, from like my perspective, I've obviously featured on it and it was a laugh, but just like sitting like at home on my phone after I've had a stressful day with the kids and everything, I've been like, do you know what? I'll chill out, and it just brightens my day. It really makes me laugh.
I mean, and I win in the quizzes all the time because I cheat.
Don't mention it. Lee'll be on your case.
You get on my case, but I wish I had a cheat. If you'd have watched the other night, I still won the guest the attendance.
But Skippy got 1 point. Yes.
He did. But you know where he got 1 point? He just went one person more than me on one of them.
I know.
But there's a science to that. All you need to know is the ground capacity.
Yeah.
And then you can work out how big the team is. So the League One and League Two is dead easy.
Yeah.
Because Tranmere been around there so long, you know roughly how many fans teams are getting.
Yeah.
Championship's more of a struggle for me. But League One and League Two, if someone says to me, how many did Accrington get in? I know if it's a big game, they're going to get around about 2,000.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. How many have Rochdale got in this week? I know it's going to be around about 4,500.
Yeah.
If Tranmere's there, it might be 5 or 6.
Yeah. 100%.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
You just add a bit of science. You just do a bit of science, and it's easy.
I'm not good with that kind of thing. If I ever come back, I'm on your team.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
I've decided that now, and you can just do all that. These are quite funny questions, and then we'll get on to the more serious ones. Scoops has said, if he had to decide who to spend the rest of his life with between his wife or Ian Goodison, where would him and Ian buy a beach hut?
Oh, would have to be Jamaica, back in his hometown. Oh, Ian Goodison.
He was
a legend.
Honestly, he was one of them where obviously we knew him because he was that defender and he always did a job kind of thing.
He always did a job on everyone.
Honestly, I loved him.
He had the control of like Ronaldinho. He was just unreal. The guy used to get sent off every Christmas so he could take Christmas off. Did. He'd turn up for pre-season training about a week before the season started. From what I've heard in the background, he was dead lazy in training as well, but he was just unreal. We brought him in at the same time as we brought in Theo Watmore.
Yeah,
we brought him and Ian Goodison. I think from Hull. They played for Hull. I don't know where they came from, but they played for Hull, both of them, and we brought them both in. And Ian Goodison is he's one of those just cult heroes. We've had fair few at Tranmere, and you do Rochdale, I'm sure, got loads of them, but you get a player and you go, I love him.
Yeah. Mine was Gary Jones. I loved Gary
Jones. Yeah, exactly that. He's just even he was at 39 and he was just made the game look effortless.
Yeah.
He just glided around the pitch, not running, just walking, taking the ball off people.
Yeah.
Knew the dark arts as well very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
I think
like it.
I think John Barnes tried to play him at left back, which is bizarre. But
Neil's put, and this is because of my tweet before calling you a legend. Does he think the word legend is bandied around too much these days?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is, especially when it comes to me. I'm more
jealous. They're just jealous, Echoes.
I'm more infamous than I am famous, to be honest. Oh no, not Echoes.
They're only jealous because I never call them one. Sky Blues TV again. What's Echoes gaming unpopular football's opinion?
Oh
What?
Jesus! Don't ask me that. What my unpopular football opinions? Oh no, they're mostly about Liverpool and Bolton.
They'll have to tune into the Football League Lockdown to hear
if
about
you want
that.
To know, tune into the lowdown if you want to know any sort of popular football opinions. Yeah, I suppose it's funny because unpopular ones, you can always find somebody that'll agree with you somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I've got any unpopular ones really. I do, but nothing I could say here that wouldn't get me lynched by somebody.
We'll leave that one for Monday.
Yeah.
I expect to hear some. Who's your favourite ever Tranmere player and why? Like, who's your hero from Tranmere if you had to pick one person?
That's a tough one, that, because there was two growing up.
I'll let you have two.
Okay. There was when we were getting out of the fourth division and we got all the way up to what's now the Championship. There was two players I adored. One is Johnny Morrissey, and I love Johnny Morrissey because he was a tricky winger.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to think when I was playing football, I was a tricky winger by a pace. Johnny Morrissey didn't have much pace, but Johnny Morrissey was so skillful. He beat a man 6 times before he put a ball into the box. He was just good to watch, and Johnny King had us at the time, and we had played some awesome football then. And the boy up top was a guy called Ian Muir, and Ian Muir was probably one of the most underrated strikers in English football because he scored loads of goals for Tranmere, but he was just brilliant at it. He scored every kind of goal you could think of, overhead kicks, volleys, headers, tap-ins, from long range. He was just a beautiful footballer. And growing up, so we're talking like until about 91, 92, I'd have been 9, 10 years old watching Johnny Morrissey and Ian Muir play, and then we start bringing in players like Pat Nevin and Gary Stevens and players like that. But Morrissey and Muir for me were my heroes growing up. We've had some good ones, and after that, don't get me wrong, I loved Clint Hill. Because he just took no prisoners at all. He would just break people in half. I loved him, and I loved him right up to the point he went to Oldham and kissed the badge.
Oh no!
He'd had a row with Tranmere. He left under bad circumstances, and he kissed. Now he has been back to Tranmere since and commentated and apologised for doing that. But he was my hero, and seeing that.
Oh yeah, of every team though, to kiss the badge, come on.
Yeah. I could. The only way that could have been worse is if he'd gone to Bolton and kissed the badge.
Yeah, true. What's your favourite ever Tranmere memory? You can say a couple if you want. You can say a couple.
There's a couple here now. I've been very lucky with Tranmere. We've been to Wembley a lot in my lifetime. I mean, even from my one of my earliest Tranmere memories is going to Wembley to watch Tranmere play Bristol Rovers in the Leyland Daft Cup and winning that 2-1. And we got to Wembley 4 times in those 2 years.
Wow.
But I was only 7, 8 years old at the time, so I can remember bits of them. And I've watched them back, obviously. So there was one we beat Bolton in the playoff final. It's one of my very, very first memories I can remember vividly. Chris Malkin scored an extra time to make it 1-0. I remember Phil Neal was the Bolton manager, and he was so angry that we beat them because they'd finished about 10 points ahead of us in the league, but we got in the playoffs and we beat them in the final. But the year before, we got knocked out by Notts County 2-0, despite Tranmere the best team in the league the year before, but Bristol Rovers and Bristol City came first and second.
Yeah.
And we got knocked out in the playoffs, despite we were definitely the best team in the league. And so the year later, Bolton were above us, and we did knock them out. But I remember Phil Neal going mad. But I remember my dad being so emotional. My dad doesn't swear. He doesn't, really clean living religious man. And he sang the Birkenhead song, which has some swear words. And I'm what? How old am I? 1991. I'm 8. And from the age of 8, I never let my dad live that down. Hey, Dad,
Really?
even when I go home now, hey, Dad, remember you sang the Birkenhead song? You know?
Oh, I love it.
And then there's 2 other Wembley moments. Now, the next one was we got to the League Cup final in the year 2000, and we got beat by Leicester. But when we equalised, I was, 15, 16 then? 16, yeah. We equalised with 10 men against Leicester. And I even talk about it now, the hairs are standing up on end. There was 30,000 Tranmere fans at Wembley. And we equalised. And I remember turning around to my dad at 15, 16. My dad's about 17, 18 stone. And I lifted him up.
Really?
And I can remember just picking him up. Oh, yeah. You know. And I was, at the time, I wasn't like I am now. I was a real waif, doing a little rake of a thing. And I'm lifting my dad up, when we're going mad. And it was heartbreaking that we lost that game, but for that split second, I don't think I have been as happy, but at the time I'd never been happier in my entire life when that went in. And then the very last one was the playoff final against Boreham Wood. And there was the 1 year later we won in extra time, but the one against Boreham Wood was special because we had a player sent off in the first minute. We played the entire game with 10 men. We picked up a couple of injuries as well. We've made all our substitutions by half time. They equalised in I think it was the 8th and 9th minutes of added time in the first half. And we still did it. And there was 2 points. So when we scored the winner, it was like, oh my Lord, we're going to do this. And we're going absolutely crazy. And then when the final whistle goes, and I don't know if you ever want to go watch it back, what happens when the final whistle goes. Mickey Mellon doesn't shake anybody's hand. He just runs to the fans.
Oh!
He just runs to the fans, and he's made up. And we're all going mad. My dad's crying, and my brothers are crying. We're all hugging.
Oh, bless.
The amount that went into the game from us, never mind the players, because we'd lost the year before against Forest Green in the final. And then to have a man sent off that early on and be completely up against it, couldn't make any substitutions second half, just had to play what we had to be completely up against it and still get through. It's just like a wave of it. I think I don't get emotional. I don't cry very often. I think that I did. She shed a tear, and I was like, oh no, I was so good. And I'd flown in from Belfast. Obviously, the last 3 times I've been to Wembley, I've flown in from Belfast. And the year before, I went home the same day from Belfast, back to Belfast, and we lost 3-1. But this year, I didn't. I changed it. I actually went back up to Birkenhead on the train with all the Tranmere fans, and it was just, it was unbelievable.
Oh, I love stories like that. I love listening to other people's stories.
How about you? What makes those moments so? And I always think it's so much better for a lower league fan. Is you're not expecting to get to Wembley. You're not expected to win things there. If you're on Everton, if you're on Liverpool or United or, City, Chelsea, you're expecting to get there, and you do it every year, and it's not a big deal. When you get there, and you win, or you just get it, I think the experience is so much better than when they say, it's just the FA Cup or it's just the League Cup. I'd chew my arm off to get to an FA Cup final.
Same, honestly, same.
A playoff final, to get to a playoff final. And I would much rather go up by winning the playoff final than winning the league.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, the stress is horrible, but if you can go up that way, it's so much better to go up winning that game at Wembley.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I love it. Right. So we all have that. I don't know if you do, but I'm not expecting you do, but us fans, we all have that one ground we like going to, like your favourite away day. What would yours be? Like not just like you've not like like football or a game, just one particular ground where you enjoy going, whether it be like
Bolton, because I have never seen us lose at the Reebok. Never. I've been to Bolton several times, and we beat them in the League Cup semi-final there.
Yeah.
We beat them in the FA Cup there. We beat them in the league several times there. There was even a game we went and we drew 2-2 with them, and they were winning 2-1, and we got 2 penalties, and we pulled it back to 2-2. I love going there because we take 4,000 fans to Bolton.
Yeah.
We get the whole end, and the atmosphere is just incredible. I don't get me wrong, we don't like Bolton. I don't like Bolton. But going there when you take 4,000 fans, and Wrexham is very similar. You take an absolute boatload of fans down, and the atmosphere is incredible. And those 2 grounds to go to me, I mean, you could say I've been to nicer ground. I've been to the Stadium of Lights. I've been to all sorts of grounds at Tranmere. In fact, I've done most of the 92 with Tranmere. But going to those grounds where it's absolutely packed, everyone's singing the same songs, the celebrations are wild. It's because it's a rivalry as well. When you score, there's an extra added bit to it.
Yeah, there is. That's what I miss so much about obviously Bury. You know, the Bury games, because even though like our rivals are actually Oldham, because we'd never played Oldham for that long. Yeah. It was more like us and Bury. And I really miss them games.
And Bury, obviously, we could all see what was happening with Bury. Even the season they went up, we knew it was going to implode. We were like, how are they paying for these players? Yeah. And it rubbed fans up in League Two and Tranmere as well the wrong way. But what happened to them, I wouldn't want to see to happen to any club. No. And I don't know a joke about Bolton, but I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone, because that's, as much as you don't like the club or even some of the fans, there's people like you and me. Exactly. You rely on that. Exactly. It's daft that you have to rely on football for a bit of happiness in your life. But see when we win on Saturday, that's my weekend made. You know, if we lose, I'm a grumpy. I mean, my wife and kids will say, "Did Tranmere lose? Did they?" You know?
Oh, I love it. And what's your worst? Have you ever been to a ground or like just an away day in general where you thought like, nah, I don't like this?
Loads of them.
Yeah.
My worst away day actually is Millwall. Now we drew 0-0 with Millwall. We saved a penalty in the last minute. Achterberg saved the penalty, but we didn't go on the away coaches. We went by train. So we dropped the car. It's funny, we went in a Mini. So I was the smallest guy in the Mini. Now, bear in mind, I never used to be this. I was always tall, but was never big. So there was 5 of us in a Mini, and I don't mean one of the new Minis. I mean the old Minis. Yeah. We drove from Birkenhead. We dropped the car at Watford Gap. Yeah. Got the train into London, then to Bermondsey. And when you get there, it's like split into 2 tunnels. Well, I don't know what it is anymore. Away fans go down this with the barbed wire all over the top of it. Okay. So as we get there, there's a coach of Tranmere fans, but it's not an official coach of Tranmere fans. Yeah. I'm looking at going, yeah, I know those boys. And they're there, and they're giving the Millwall fans loads. They're giving them loads and loads, because if you ever want to read a book called Away Days. It's about Tranmere, basically. From the 70s, yeah, bit hooligans. But they're giving it loads to the Millwall. And all game, our fans are whining their fans when it finishes 0-0. So what they do is they lay on a train for the away fans coming out. And of course, the way it worked out, we missed the away fans train because it was kind of backlogged and we couldn't get out. So we're getting on this train with a load of Millwall fans. And honestly, I was what, 18, 19, and I was petrified, because those players walking up and down, those lads walking up and down the trains looking for Tranmere fans to fight. And when we get some of these scouts, we're going to stab them. We're not scouts, by the way. Just want to point that out. We're not scouts. But I wasn't getting up in the middle of a train full of Millwall fans going, here, lads, listen, you need to get your geography right. We are not scouts. We're definitely not. So there we are, all zipped up, like this, trying not to speak to each other. Yeah. As we get out of this train that's like, it's like, I'm trying to think, it's like a National Front rally. This train, just bald skinheads everywhere, combats and Doc Martens, and I'm like, oh no, we're gonna die today, aren't we? So as soon as we get into the station into London, we just leg it to the car. So it's not an experience I enjoyed. You know,
Yeah.
I love going. But I prefer going to away games than I do home.
I love away games. There's just something more about them.
Yeah, I love going to Prenton Park. Don't get me wrong, I love
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's you know, it's where I'm born to go.
Yeah, yeah.
When you go away, the atmosphere is special.
Yeah, it really is.
Now we got the big cop at Prenton Park now, where everyone sits. But years and years ago, before all that was built, we had the cow sheds where everyone stood and sang and things. That was more like an away end. The big cop is great for atmosphere when it's always almost 60-70% full. And when we're winning, it's bouncing and stuff like that. When you go away, the whole game you're bouncing.
Yeah.
And if you watch us on the other night there against Salford, we actually, I think I mentioned it earlier on, we had more Tranmere fans on the ground than Salford did.
Yeah.
And it sounded like a home game for us.
Yeah, yeah.
And we do take a fairly decent traveling, you know, a fairly decent crowd away traveling with us.
Yeah.
Because we got that core of about 5,000 fans who come to every single game, no matter what. And depending who we're playing, it can go to 7,000-8,000.
Yeah.
And if we ever get back to the championship, we can see us with 10, 11, 12,000. But we got that core of 5,000, but they all want to go away. So it's funny, you watch our Twitter, when a local team comes up to play against, 9 times out of 10, that away allocation gets sold out.
Yeah, yeah.
They just love going away. And
Yeah,
one thing I do miss about living over here is going to the games.
Yeah.
I had a season ticket for most of my life.
Yeah.
I went to it was funny, from the age of about 15, I went to practically every away game, to the point where if it was a midweek game, we had a midweek game at Charlton away, and me and my mate wrote each other notes to give the teachers to go to school to go to Charlton. We were going to the dentist that day.
I love it.
You know, kind of that kind of stuff. And at 15, I'm traveling all over the country without my parents. There's no adult supervision.
Yeah,
we're just going away. You know, and my dad, because my dad's a big Tranmere fan.
Yeah.
You know, he'd say, "What are you doing? Are you going, son?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm going to Palace next week, or I'm going to Sunderland next week." And he'd never go. And that's again another thing with the youth today. You know, you wouldn't see 14, 15-year-olds going away on their own.
No.
But me and my mate just went everywhere. You know, when you're on the official coach, you're in, you're out, so it was never a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do miss that. That's one of the things I do miss.
Yeah, there's just something more about away games, isn't there? I think it's a day itself, isn't it? Like,
and when you win away from home, it feels more special. Because obviously you don't win as many away games you do home ones. When you win one, or you get a last minute equaliser.
Limbs.
Probably limbs. Yeah, last minute goal, last minute winner, and you just go absolutely bonkers. You know.
I love it.
We did it. I was 15. We went to Crystal Palace away on Saturday, and it was the Saturday before I went to Charlton away on the Tuesday. So in the space of 3-4 days, I'd gone to London twice with Tranmere at the age of 15. So I had a lot of paper rounds to pay for this. And we were 2-0 down with about 5-6 minutes to go. We pulled one back through Jason Kumas, who was what a footballer he was.
I was going to say, I recognise that name.
He was
I
just
recognise that name.
Proper baller. He played for West Brom as well and stuff. He played in the Premier League and he scored some amazing goals. And then I think we got 5-6 minutes into injury time. For some reason, we scored an equaliser. Now the whole game, the Palace section that was sitting next to it, now there's only about 200-300 Tranmere fans there. The whole game, the Palace section were just giving us loads, like constantly over the finger, giving you loads and loads and loads.
Yeah.
And when we scored the equaliser, our section just erupted and they went silent, completely silent, and then started walking out. And we're all have to go. But I'm 15. I'm 15 and I'm giving it loads to these big fellas on the way out. And
I love it.
I miss it. Yeah, I guess that's what I do miss.
Oh no, honestly, like there's just something about it, isn't there? And I do miss away days. Because I used to go all the time with my dad as well. Obviously, before I had kids, it used to be like mine and my dad's thing. For home games, we had season tickets, and then we'd do pretty much every away game. Yeah. And now it's like getting
in a few years' time, you can do that with the kids.
Yeah, I've actually got my oldest a season ticket, because the good thing is at Dale, when you get an adult season ticket, you can get a kids one for 25 quid.
That's not bad at all.
So he's slowly getting into it, but he took after some of my family and he was edging towards Man United, and I was like, no.
Well, what you do is if you get into an away game that you win,
yeah,
and it's all going mad, and that'll sell it from, because obviously the big pull, the big pull for people on the Wirral is unfortunately Liverpool and Everton.
Yeah.
And my mum's side of the family are all Everton fans,
Yeah.
and they were trying to get me towards Everton.
Yeah.
My dad was having none of that. So he took me to a few Tranmere games very, very young. So we're talking like 87, 88.
Yeah.
When I'm 4, and as soon as I was in love with Tranmere. I was just, that was it for me. And I've never wavered. I've been annoyed with them down the line, but I've never, ever wavered. And I've never ever wished that I've supported somebody else.
That's exactly like me.
I've always said it's bloody hard work.
Yeah.
Supporting Tranmere sometimes, but I've never gone, I wished I didn't.
Yeah. It's like now, that's a frustrating thing with obviously Dale fans now, because obviously a lot of them have only just seen the luxuries, like obviously under Kieran and, like getting to a playoff final, the playoff semi-final, and these like FA Cup runs and stuff, whereas I remember them times before Kieran, and it's probably worse the times before I remember. And I just think even now, rebuilding, we are so lucky compared to back in the day when I first started watching.
Well, I'm the same. When I first started going, Tranmere were the smallest club in the bottom division, Division 4.
Yeah.
Some games we were getting sub 1,000, attendances.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then to what we got built up into, to being on the brink of the Premier League 3 years running. In fact, there was a point where we were actually the second best team on Merseyside. We were better than Everton.
Yeah.
They were scraping, avoiding relegation every year, and we were just missing out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When we should have gone up. And then we'd gone all the way back down into the conference and come back again. But we kept, a lot of fans that years and years ago weren't there. So, some people I know growing up now, I've always seen us just seen us go to Wembley every season.
Yeah.
Like the last 3-4 years, every year we've been to Wembley.
Yeah.
They call it, maybe it's even when we do get there, the chairman always puts out, we're going to Prenton Park South.
I love it.
Because that's how many times we've been. It's mad. It's every year. Or we're going to Wembley.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my mates said, his kids said to him, "Oh, what date we going to Wembley this year, Dad?" Because he just expected they're going.
Oh, I love it. It's one of them as well. Like I've been twice with Rochdale. One of them was obviously the playoff final where we got beat to Stockport, which I think was the best thing for us, because look at Stockport now.
Yeah.
And the second one was when we actually got a replay against Spurs, and because obviously their ground was getting built, we got the replay against them, so we got to Wembley. But the first time it was just raining, like torrential rain, and the second time there was a snow blizzard. And we lost both times.
I've been to Wembley 8 times at Tranmere, which seems mad.
That's crazy.
It's a mad, and it's that's just how many times we got to Wembley. Since 1990, we've been to Wembley 9 times. Okay, but one of them was the lockdown last year.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to go.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I've missed. I've been every time.
No way. We'll leave it on a high now, speaking about Wembley, but I just want to thank you so much again for coming on and obviously doing the interview. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. I really enjoyed it.
And just for the people listening, where can they find you on social media?
On social media, I do remember my what was it? Is my name on social? Yeah, it's at Ecxoes Gaming. It's ECXOES Gaming. My name's Michael. Obviously, you'll see it on there, or Ecxoes. I'm on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/C/Ecxoes. And on Twitch, twitch.tv/Ecxoes. So I've got a small YouTube channel. It's hovering around just below 10,000 subscribers. And on Twitch, I'm on Twitch Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the Football League Lowdown on a Monday night, which is twitch.tv/ScoopsCallahan1. If you honestly, if you do want to pop along, talk about, the more people come and talk about Rochdale, the more we will talk about Rochdale. So there's incentive there. For
Yeah,
Charlotte
that
to
is
get more
true.
people
That is true.
funnily enough, we get people in from, with Scunthorpe fans, Bristol Rovers, fans from all over the lower leagues just pop in and go, oh, I didn't know you're doing that. Mansfield fans, it's mad. The fans you'd think would be in, all the championship, they're mostly League 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Just want a quick one. There was somebody ask a question about why we don't play on a Friday night anymore.
Was there?
Yeah, so it used to be, we used to play on a Friday night, just quickly, before we go.
Yeah.
We used to play on a Friday night so we avoid clashes with Everton and Liverpool to try and, entice more fans in. And then it kind of stopped. It stopped when we got to the kind of championship, what was Division 1 at the time. Because we were pulling in fans anyway, and we were up there, and we were nearly Premier League, so it kind of stopped around about then. But it has restarted where we can play on a Friday night. They will play on a Friday night because it's kind of it's A, nostalgic, and B, I like playing a Friday night. It's a good game. Most people, like you play on a Wednesday night or Tuesday night, people are working and stuff and can't get to it. Friday night, you can get it. We used to be able to go. You go to the Friday night game. You go out after the game. Go clubbing.
Yeah.
Maybe get a kebab on the way home. You've won as well. Most of the time we win at home. On a Friday night. So yeah, that the reason it stopped was we do try do it this, whenever we can.
Yeah.
But it's not always feasible. It's down to policing and stuff like that. Whether Merseyside police want to have half their people out on a Friday night when there's we've got to go out and sort out Liverpool and stuff like that. So but when we can, we will. But yeah, I did. It was a good question. I do miss the Friday night games.
I didn't even see that question. I feel bad now. I didn't even see that question.
I did check a couple of questions. So,
but I just want to thank you again for obviously coming on, and good luck to Tranmere for the rest of the season, apart from Saturday.
No, we don't need it for Saturday. So
Yeah, and I hope I'll be tuning in on Monday. But if we lose, I probably won't.
If you don't, we'll just drag you into the Discord. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh no, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you to Ecxoes again for coming on to our podcast. He's such a lovely guy, isn't he?
Oh, honestly, it just makes my day. Like I said, I watch that programme every Monday, and it just makes my day. It just brightens my Monday up, which is obviously the worst day of the week. You just need a laugh, and yeah, it's funny. He's a funny guy.
So moving on to the Tranmere game this weekend, score predictions. Go on, Charlotte. What are your score predictions for Saturday's game?
Well, I'm a bit, me, I like to be really optimistic when it comes to Dale, but I've just at the minute with Tranmere obviously signing these players, and obviously we've got the forwards, don't get me wrong. This could possibly be Cashman's time to shine, because obviously he was back in the squad. He was only on the bench, but he was back in the squad the Colchester game before it got called off.
Yeah.
But I just think because we're relying on Beasley to score the goals, I want to be optimistic, but I think it could possibly be like a 1-0 to Tranmere or a 0-0. I don't think it's going to be the best game, to be honest, because earlier on in the season, I think it was a 1-0 win to us, and Danny Cashman scored late on.
Yeah.
And I just think at the minute, like, I don't know if it's just me not knowing what to expect, because obviously we've lost Corey O'Keefe, we've lost Beasley, we've lost Morley. We might surprise ourselves, but I personally can't see anything but a Tranmere win.
I'm gonna go for a draw. We are a better away team.
Yeah.
It does push us a bit more when we're away. I'm gonna go for 1-1 draw, and I'm gonna say Josh Andrews, because I think this now he's going to have that pure number 9 role. He's going to
Yes.
be up front. He's going to be the one that we're all got our eyes on when the ball comes to him.
Yeah.
I want him to show us that he is our striker. He's going to be our striker for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
and he's capable of doing so. I think Danny Cashman needs to start, as well as Josh Andrews, obviously.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Danny Cashman is going to be influencing a lot of the forward play, but I'm going to go for Josh Andrews 1-0.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well because obviously now, like striker wise, I know Newby can play forward as well up front, so it'll be really interesting to see whether he obviously starts with Andrews or whether it'll start with Newby up front and then maybe Cashman and Ado. There is a lot of different ways that we could play, isn't there? But yeah, I want to be really optimistic, but like I said, I just don't know what to expect because obviously they're 3 massive first team players that we've lost.
Yeah.
And as well, I think it came out, I don't know if he's okay now, but Coleman had COVID.
Oh God.
And that was one of the reasons why he didn't feature obviously in this team and the squad on Saturday, even though it got called off. So it's like, will Coleman be back up fit, or will obviously it's just annoying because we obviously got that confidence from the Newport game.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've not played for 4 games, but we've lost them key players. And like I said, I like being really optimistic, but I just can't see anything but a Tranmere win.
You like being optimistic, but you're being very realistic.
That is true, and that's usually not like me. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting as well, just to see, like I said, just to see who plays. Like, will Owen O'Connell play in the midfield? Will obviously it be Broadbent? We've obviously got Dooley.
Yeah.
It's quite a strange one, isn't it, team-wise? And like we were mentioning before, left back, right back, who'll feature, who'll play. There is a lot of good quality players.
No,
there is, but obviously it's
I-
like the Corey O'Keefe. I think he played a massive role, and I think he'll be one that we will really miss.
Definitely. I genuinely don't know who will be in that starting squad.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we've got, like you said, 3 big losses to the squad. So we're obviously going to have 3 new players in, but with the 3 new players, and we're going to change a little bit of formation so the 3 new players can get a bit more advantage. Are we going to have more of an attacking formation? Are we going to have more of a defensive formation? Because I know that Tranmere has signed a lot, not a lot, but quite a few strikers as well, and attacking players, which is like great, but like signed them after Saturday.
I know. The thing is as well, what I'm quite worried about is I think Tranmere have the best defence in the league.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I think we're capable of scoring, but obviously we've lost Beasley, who was scoring the goals. We've obviously got your likes of Newby. You've got Josh Andrews, who are more than capable of scoring and getting goals. But I sound like a negative Nancy. I really do. But yeah, it's a strict one.
Yeah, I saw a stat the other day. I can't remember it precisely, but it said something like most opportunities in the other team's box in League 2, and we have the most opportunities in.
We're top, aren't we? On a lot of them. Yeah.
We create so many opportunities in the opponent's box. We just don't finish them. So frustrating. But it does show us a bit of like confidence. Like we can get these it's forwards play.
Yeah.
And it's just we can't finish them at the moment. But like I said, hopefully Josh Andrews, Danny Cashman, I'm hoping that they'll step up and be like, right, you've had 2 key players lost, gone.
Yeah.
Our time to shine. And like I said before, I really like to be proven wrong by players as well. So like if I'm a negative Nancy one week, I want them to score 2 next week so they can prove me wrong. I love it when they prove me wrong. So I'm really hoping that, they prove me wrong and they do show what they are capable of.
it'll be very interesting as well to see who our penalty taker is now. Who would you personally choose? I think I'd choose Liam Kelly.
I'd either go Liam Kelly or Alex Newby.
Or Alex Newby, yeah. I'm just thinking more Liam Kelly just for the fact that just some of the goals he scored this season and just his finishing and stuff. I just think it seems like quite a cool guy, and not a lot of things get to him as well. So
Yeah,
I just think
like
it doesn't seem to crumble under pressure.
No.
So me personally, I pick Liam Kelly, but that's another thing as well. Will it be Josh Andrews? Will it be Alex Newby? Who will it be?
As well, I think
mad.
about this before, like, I know it's not that big of a deal, but, you know, Morley was our deputy captain.
Yeah.
O'Connell, he was next in line. Like, who would you have as the, you know, if O'Connell is injured, who would you have as your deputy captain?
Obviously, I know we've not seen him play yet, but from the experience, obviously there is a new signing, but obviously he's not gelled with them. He doesn't really know them yet, so he may be an option. But do you know what? I would probably even say again, like your Liam Kelly or just someone quite vocal. AD White, if AD White obviously plays because he's quite experienced, maybe AD White.
I was thinking if they play Matty Doan.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout.
But you know, from regular key starters, I'm thinking Liam Kelly as well.
Yeah, I just think with him as well, he is quite vocal and he doesn't seem to let the pressure get to him, Liam Kelly. So maybe that's a good shout.
Yeah. No, I would say Liam Kelly, but we shall see.
Be very interesting. And I know we've been linked with a couple of players as well, especially I think a striker from Darlington, I think, is he called Luke Charman?
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I was hoping that would get over the line before the weekend, but it won't. Unless it happens tomorrow.
I know. But but like I said, it'd be really interesting to see. I just hope this January now we have got a little bit of money in the bank and obviously get O'Keefe. I think that's the main one I think I'd like to sign. But obviously we do need someone to replace Beasley.
We do. We really do. I think our main priority is a right back and a striker. I don't think it would be the end of the world if we missed out on a midfielder.
Yes.
Because I think the likes of Dooley, Liam Kelly, Newby, Adele, Cashman.
Yeah.
You know, I think and Broadbent now, especially with him staying to the end of the season. Yeah. I think that it's not the end of the world. We're not desperate. We only have one striker really. And no right back. Like you said, like AD White can play both. But what if AD White gets injured? And then
I'm going to say he's quite injured.
Yeah. So right back in a striker for me is priority in this transfer window.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, like I said, Sam Graham's back from injury, but like his confidence got knocked last time, so maybe it is too soon putting him back in straight away. Who knows?
We shall see.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything, isn't it? Like to cover, because like I said, we've got no match analysis now.
Yeah, it's been a bit gutting. We tried to wait to see what was going to happen at the start of the transfer window before we did another episode because there were no news. We had no news to talk about when the transfer window had started yet. So apologies for the delay, everybody. Happy New Year as well. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Happy New Year. And thank you so much to everyone who supported us in our first programme feature. We had so many lovely comments.
No, really excited for that to be out and we're excited for you guys to read more in the future.
Yeah, we can't wait. And just, I know we say this every single time we do a podcast, but we do appreciate the support you give us so much. And it just makes us want to do it bigger and better each week, doesn't it?
No, it does. It makes us want to just go that extra mile every time.
I just think, honestly, like with everything going on and just with her game too, and just the lovely comments we've had off people supporting the campaign, supporting us two girls. We just want to thank you again, really, because it really does mean a lot. And like I said, inspires us to want to do it more and more and to make it bigger and better, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just one of them, like, you get them the odd message, you know, although every time I put a podcast out, you know, we get a lot of positive feedback as well as sometimes some constructive criticism, which is great. You know, we want to hear more. It's just like the odd message, like, you guys are influencing the younger female generation, and you're influencing more female fans to speak out about football. I just love it, and it just makes you want to carry on and do more. So
yeah, it really does.
Like Charlotte said, we say it every single podcast. We honestly cannot thank the listeners enough.
We just genuinely appreciate everyone's support, don't we? And it's just mental, because we obviously wanted to do something to support the campaign for Her Game Too, but obviously we didn't think it'd be as good and as big as it is now, our podcast, and it just means the world to us.
Right, so I think that is everything that we have got to talk about today. So
yeah,
we've gone on a right rampage, haven't we, with that transfer window?
I know. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I am just being a negative Nancy and Dale can prove me wrong, because like I said, I am so optimistic, and as you've heard on the podcast before, I always back us to win, so hopefully they will prove me wrong.
Charlotte is a negative Nancy going for a 1-0 loss, but we've still got positive Izzy going for a 1-0 draw.
Positive Patricia.
I'm keeping the spirits up, guys. Don't you worry.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Thank you.